Okay. Give me a countdown and a clap.
1, 2, 3.
Okay. Here comes the music.
Perfect.
Well, check that out, Ryan. We're at episode number 18, buddy.
Number 18. It's now legal.
Yeah. We have a lovely guest here today who says her lucky number is number 18. So she wanted to be scheduled in as number 18. And I feel honored to have her here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Micheala.
Thank you.
And Micheala. What's your deal?
I am 28 years old. I grew up in Riverside. Family born, family raised. And yeah, you had my beautiful mom on this show. And just one of your best friends. That's how I got to know you. And because I work at the well, too.
Yeah. She was asking me to ask you who's your very favorite person on the whole face of the earth.
Of course, my mom.
Oh, shit.
Of course.
I thought it was going to be me.
Oh, well, you know, I have like a top
Now
five.
I'm all
Top
let-
five.
now-
No.
Now I'm all let down.
Definitely top five, Dougie. Definitely top five.
So, we've got a few people sitting out here today having a little party for you.
I think my camera can see them, yeah.
One of them's your husband,
Yes, my husband Amir.
who he says his lucky number is 21.
Yeah. So he was pretty excited.
We're gonna try and get him out here for number 21.
How do you get a lucky number?
Well, I was born on the 18th of June. And so 18 has just been always my lucky number. I've always had good things happen to me on 18. And I've always just been either number 9, 10, 11, or 18 when I played sports. So
That's
that's it. That was why my number's 18.
You don't have a lucky number?
12? I don't know.
But why 12 though? Like what made it?
He's just making that.
He's just making it up.
Yeah.
Because I want to be anti lucky 13, like everybody says. I'll be lucky number 12.
There you go.
Unlucky 12, actually.
Oh, well, if it's lucky to you, then it's lucky to you.
I don't know.
So you say you grew up in Riverside?
Yep, grew up in Riverside.
You got any like really old friends
What-
like from?
What high school did you go to?
I actually went to Redlands High School.
Ew.
Yeah, I know.
My cousin went to Rubidoux.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Went to Redlands High School. And, yeah, I had a lot of friends. I basically bounced around through friends. I didn't believe in, like, cliques and all that stuff. So I had friends from football, cheerleaders, geeks, everybody.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't want to just I wanted to be everybody's friend. I didn't want to just be certain people's friends and banish everybody else. So...
Yeah. Just pretty much nobody liked me.
Yeah,
so-
basically.
I mean, what's to like?
Yeah, well, I didn't want to be anybody's friend, you know what I
Aww. You have a lot of friends for somebody who doesn't want to be anybody's
He's like-
friend.
mean? He's like anti-lucky number. I'm anti-human being.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
I'm that too.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just kidding.
But yeah, I grew up in Riverside. Hung out with my uncle a lot, so he's one of my top 5 favorite people. We always did some hooligan stuff, so we were always driving around in his old Ranger and off-roading or crazy stuff. Like I have a funny story I wanted to tell you.
Okay.
So we were little. I was little, obviously. And in Riverside, there's by where the movie theater is. There's like this complex, and there's this elevator that goes just 2 stories, so 1, 2, right? So we were at Del Taco, and my uncle basically tells me, let's go mess around in the elevator. So we take the iron type of build, I guess, table and chairs, and we put it inside of the elevator. Well, the way it was set up is I had to climb over the table to sit in the chair against the wall. So I'm sitting in the chair, and every time we would go up and down until somebody would be at the elevator, and then I'd be like, would you like me to read your fortune today? And my uncle would just crack up. Like, he thought it was the funniest thing, right? So we did that a few times. And then finally the cops are outside, and we're like, okay, yeah, then maybe we shouldn't do this anymore. So we dragged all the stuff out of the elevator, and we go up to the cops, and the cops are like, somebody said that you guys were reading fortunes in the elevator, and I was like, yeah, do you want me to read your fortune? I can put everything back if you want. And they just started laughing, and they're like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that here anymore. I was like, okay. All right. I don't know.
Funny.
That's pretty funny.
Right?
It's a harmless prank.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, but it was funny, so.
I went to a hotel, and two of my friends were up on the second floor. Uh-huh. So when I pressed the elevator, they had pressed the elevator to go up. Uh-huh. And then they took it up, and were just standing there keeping the door open, and I was waiting for about 20 minutes on this damn elevator, and they're just up on the third floor laughing at my stupid ass.
Oh, jeez. That's funny.
So, elevator fun.
Oh, yeah, right?
Have you ever been trapped in an elevator?
Yes.
I have.
Oh,
No
it's
fun.
Scary.
And then had to take a shit.
Oh, no.
Oh, and it was all construction workers,
Yeah.
but including a couple ladies.
Oh, no.
And they have those trash bins on the wheels.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm serious, man. I'm going to have to take a shit in that thing,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go,
At least it wasn't in the corner of
and
the
then
elevator.
fortunately they got the elevator working, but I swear I was fucking
Oh,
scoping that
no.
thing out.
He was like, oh.
Well, that's the reason I was in the elevator. It's like, I got to go take a shit,
And then you got stuck, and you're like, fuck.
That's the worst.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, man. But, yeah, had a lot of fun growing up. I don't think there was ever a time that my mom, every time my uncle would come get me, my mom would be like, all right, the cops better not call me to come get your guys' asses out of jail. And we're like, okay. We've done so many fun things, though.
Did you ever go to jail?
I have never. Thankfully.
Hey, we got that in common.
Right?
You never been to jail either.
No, surprisingly. I mean, like, there are so many things I should have not
Right?
gotten away
Yeah,
with. But,
exactly, yeah.
yeah, I mean, I've had way too many close calls, but, yeah, no, never.
I've been to
I
jail for
can't-
other things.
I
but not
can't
for
say
that.
so much.
What was your first arrest, Doug?
I got in a fight inside a limousine wearing a tuxedo on New Year's Eve
Oh, my God.
with a guy that was in a tuxedo that went with us.
Oh, no.
Tuxedo
And-
fight.
Right? Like
and I-
007 stuff.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. That's some classy,
Yeah.
that's some
Classy fighting.
classy ass kicking.
Right. I don't know if you guys remember what the old cell phones looked like, but they were about that
bricks.
goddamn big,
Yeah.
I beat the shit out of him with one of those.
Oh,
And then I crawled out of the fucking skylight of the limo and then proceeded to get arrested by the Pasadena Police Department because we were cruising down Colorado Boulevard on New Year's Eve, for the Rose Parade shit.
Yeah.
And I went to jail that night.
Oh, my goodness.
What was the reason for the fight?
The guy was being a jackass, and I decided that I was going to kick his ass.
Oh, so
Well, at least he deserved it. Though.
so this is kind of a similar situation we had here one time.
I just, I don't know. I had a tendency to,
Put people in their place.
be a little hot-headed when I was a younger man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've grown up.
That's good.
But I've really not spent, I spent like the night in LA County jail. Mm-hmm. It was funnier than shit, though. I remember being on the bus and we're all handcuffed up to like the chair there and shit. And it's all dark and fucked off, and it's about midnight, and I'm start singing Old Lang Syne, may all the
Oh my God.
and the fucking guys in the fucking bus are like, shut the fuck up, man.
Oh God.
You were that guy.
Yeah, man.
It suits you. It suits you.
But I've really only spent like an afternoon in jail and then like one overnighter,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Nothing
kind
too
of.
crazy.
Well, I'd be like, me and my friends, we'd be doing really stupid shit, and I'd go, hey, man, I'm going to go buy tacos. Anybody want tacos? Yeah. And I'd be coming back with like 25, 30 tacos or whatever. And the cops would be there arresting everybody and putting them into cop cars. And I'd be sitting across the street eating tacos.
Just watching everybody get arrested.
Yeah. Like I just happened to luck
Like a
out.
show,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely been me plenty of times too. Yeah, just leaving right at the
luck
right
of the
time.
draw.
Yeah, for real.
Just got lucky that day. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of the.
Yeah, it was a long time. I was like a teenager. We were at the movie theater one time, and we like snuck in a bottle of vodka, a couple bottles or something, and we were watching Final Destination 3.
Oh, those movies ruin people's lives. All right.
And I don't know what happened, but one of the guys we were with got super fucked up and was like started crying in the movie theater over something. Like he just got all drunk. Like it was like girlfriend
Emotional,
problems,
yeah.
emotional. Like it had nothing to do with the movie. He was just
Oh
all
my
fucked up.
gosh.
And like, and then so somebody went and told on us, right? So the theater people come because there's a group of us, and the movie theater people come in, and then they're like looking for us, and they're like looking for us with the flashlights, and then like I move my leg and I kick over the vodka bottle, clink clink clink, and it rolls down.
Oh,
and
no.
and they're like, "All of you, get the fuck out of here!" Whatever. And they sit us down, and I was just kind of arguing with the lady, right? But they sat everyone down. They're like, "The police are on their way," and blah blah blah. And I was just kind of mouthing off, and they're like, "You know what? You get the fuck out of here." And I was like, "All right." And so I just walked out the front door, and everyone else got tickets.
Fucking Jesus.
And I just sat outside waiting.
Just like, what happened?
They. I went to go see the movie with your mother and Priscilla, and we went to a all-you-can-eat and drink buffet prior to going to the movies, and I proceeded to get pretty fucking lit, I think your mom wasn't doing too bad either. But, oh, there she is. So, but, they make those movies so nice now with the beautiful chairs and all that
the
stuff.
recliners and stuff.
Yeah. And so I ordered a beer, and the movie started. Well, I lasted not even through the fucking credits, and then I was,
commercials.
I was just sleeping, and then about 5 minutes before the movie ended, they woke me up. Like, hey, fucker, this movie's almost over, wake up. And so I woke up, and then we were leaving, and I went, that movie sucked. I hadn't seen nothing of it. No. It was that Elton John movie, Rocket Man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get 5 minutes of that movie, man.
So when we went to see Godzilla versus Kong, this was just recently.
Yeah.
I had worked all day and I drank all night the night before. So then I had to work the bar, and then we went right after that. So I got out at like 6, and so we get to the movie like 7. And I order a couple beers and finish one, and I'm just fighting sleep the whole time watching this movie, and then right at like the final battle, I passed out with the beer in my hand and poured it all over my lap.
So you look like you peed yourself? Oh, no.
Woke, like splashed everywhere. Like Steve was sitting next to me. He's like, "What the fuck?" Like, fuck, sorry.
And then you gotta walk out with a big old wet crotch.
It was all over me.
I love it. But that's kind of the funny thing. See, back when you were a kid, you couldn't drink in a movie theater.
Yeah.
Now you can get
get
shit-faced if
wasted.
you
Yeah.
want, man.
Yeah, I mean, they only let you buy 2 at a time, but, you know.
And they got pretty decent food, too.
But how about this
Yeah.
fucking retarded thing about, you know, the whole COVID thing is like no one's accepting cash now.
Yeah.
So I go to AMC and, you know, the bar only pays me in cash. So I have like a wad of cash. I have nothing in my bank account.
Right.
and so I go to buy 2 beers and like the girl pours them and puts them down. And she's like, oh, you need to buy an entree from the snack bar in order for me to serve you these 2 beers. Those are like the COVID rules, I guess. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, sure. I go, give me the cheapest thing on the menu. She goes, a hot dog. I'm like, fine, whatever. And then like she brings up my rewards. So then the hot dog's free. So I'm like, cool, whatever. I'll just give it to somebody. And then I hand her money to pay, and she goes, oh, I can't take cash. And I'm like, so now what do we do then?
Yeah. Now
where are we at?
where are we at now? Yeah.
And she goes, well, what you can do is go turn around, go to that desk, buy a gift card, and then come back to me with the gift card. I'm like,
Oh,
wait,
my.
I go, so I can't pay you cash, but I can pay that guy cash
To get
to
you
get a
gift
card to pay you?
Oh my gosh.
Like, the fuck does that make any
ridiculous.
sense?
Thank you, COVID.
Right? Jeez.
The fuck? So yeah, so I go and I do that, and then then I do that and I get the beers, and then I walk into the theater and I go, fuck, I wanted to buy some M&Ms.
Oh my god.
You got to go get another gift
Now you
card.
gotta get another.
You're gonna get another fucking gift card.
Oh my gosh.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
So back to you,
Yes.
Micheala.
Yes.
So anyhow, I know you bought yourself a brand new Jeep.
Yes, we did. We did. Yes.
How's that working for you?
I love it.
It looks pretty beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love it. It's my dream Jeep. So
Wrangler,
yeah, no Rubicon.
Rubicon.
Oh, it's a Wrangler
We're
Rubicon.
Rubicon,
Yeah.
So are you going to be taking that up into the hills and getting her all dirty, or you keeping her clean? What are you doing?
Right now, I'm keeping her clean. Just right now, just because we're gonna do a couple upgrades to her first, and then we'll take her.
And then you go get her all dirty.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Very
Yeah.
good. Well, I don't know. You're boring the shit out of
I'm
me. So
sorry.
Let's talk about
sorry.
What did you do? Did you do any sports in high school or anything like that?
I played softball. I played softball growing up. I played soccer and softball growing up, and I loved it. It was super fun. Helped me get my aggression out. Gotten hurt so many times, but yeah.
What kind of position did you play in baseball?
I played first, outfield, shortstop, second, basically anything.
Infield.
Infield.
Oh, you played outfield?
I played outfield. Yeah.
I always played outfield because I was
Yeah.
the most useless.
I was the most. I was
Well,
beyond
See,
useless.
it's different. It's different.
I'd be out there
because-
digging holes and shit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
I-
when you're playing when you're younger, yeah, outfield's kind of useless.
Yeah.
But when
No,
you're
no,
playing,
no. Even once I got old enough, I was pretty goddamn useless.
It wasn't until I actually started really getting into baseball that like I realized how important outfield really is.
It's-
And then
yeah.
I realized the real reason why I always played outfield was because I had a gun for an arm, but I couldn't pitch.
oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah,
you know,
I could throw
I
from
was,
center field.
I was always thrown
catcher,
into
no.
right field,
right.
and that's where like gnats and shit hung out.
Oh yeah.
So I'd just,
yeah.
I'd just be swatting away bugs,
Yeah.
and then they'd hit a ball out to me, and I'd be,
Swatting bugs and not
fucking
paying
bugs.
attention. Yeah.
But I remember I could hear like my family and shit in the audience,
screaming
and the
at
ball
you.
would go, and they'd go, oh, like they knew it was going to be all disappointing and fucked off,
Yeah.
I got a story where on Saturdays we used to go to the school across the street from one of my friends, and we'd get 10 of us together, and we'd pick 2 friends, and they'd become captains.
Yeah.
And then we'd all stand there, and they'd pick one person at a time to be on their team. And it would get down to me and this guy, Chris Mason. Now, Chris Mason was 3 feet shorter than me. He had broken both his legs 4 times, and they stopped growing. his arms actually went past his knees.
Oh my gosh.
So now you got to understand, you got this 6'1" guy
Yeah.
and this 3 nothing freakazoid with fucked up legs. And it come down to us being the last two to be picked. And you know who they picked every time? Chris Mason. Yes.
It's the arms, man. I'm
That's
telling you.
my
It's
line.
The arms. Yeah.
The kid had reach.
Right, exactly.
And I swear to God, Chris was better at me in basketball than.
Oh no.
Oh
Yeah.
shit. I'd get the ball and they'd just let me run down there and they'd give me like 3-4 shots at the fucking hoop and I'd miss every goddamn time and then kind of run out of steam, you know?
Yeah.
And then they just give me the ball, sucker, you know? That was terrible, man.
No, I loved it. At first I hated it because they were like, "Oh, you'll go outfield, you'll go outfield." I'm like, I don't want to fucking play outfield all the time. Like, I want to play infield. I want action,
That's
you
where
know?
the action's at.
Yeah, but then when you play outfield, you get amazing fucking catches. And like Ryan, I had an amazing arm, so I could throw over the shortstop, you know, and straight to the catcher, and that's where they wanted me out there. So then finally, I kind of coaxed the first baseman to let me play first. I was like, let's just trade, you know? Please, let's trade. I want to play first. We played first. Oh my God. I was so terrible. I was shitty at first. I got hit in the eye. Literally bounced, knocked me in the eye a few times. I used to be scared of the ball. Like, terrified of the ball. Like, I did not want to.
That's why I never played catcher.
Fuck, hell no.
Oh.
Like, I did not. No, I used to be so terrified of the ball. I would get hurt all the time. And then.
What's the worst injury you've sustained?
Oh, jeez. I think I was playing shortstop, and I didn't have my glove because I had just ran to be the cutoff for the outfield. So I had my glove from throwing it in under my arm, and I had got back to where I was. I was putting my glove on halfway, and then pitcher pitched, and I had a line drive straight to me. I literally, I don't know why, took my fucking glove off and caught the ball with my hand and just took my fucking thumb straight with it. But I caught it, but I fucked up my hand.
Did you break it?
Yeah, I did. I broke my fucking thumb.
Broke your thumb?
Yeah.
Oh, breaking your fingers is the worst.
It's, especially when you, I mean, I had like, it got hit in the head. It like skinned my head, and I had like stitches on my head from the ball.
Oh, yeah, okay. That's
That
fun.
would fucking sucked, but other than that, I mean, I enjoyed it. I played all the time, you know, all my friends played, and I played until I was an adult, played on adult leagues, so I was like the youngest, so they're like, we need a runner. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to run anymore. Jeez, like, fucking old people, you don't want to play, don't fucking play. If you can't run, stop fucking playing, you know? But it was fun, it was cool. It was definitely fun. I enjoyed playing.
I'm not certain how old you are.
I'm 28. I'll be 29 in June.
So where's the old part coming in?
I'm fucking old. I feel old. Let's put it that way.
Just a puppy, man.
She's only a few years younger than me.
Yeah, you're fucking old.
I'm fucking old. My
I'm fucking old.
My knee's all ballooned up right now.
Jeez.
I got liquid in my knee right now. It's pretty dope.
Nice.
I got liquid all in my body.
Oh, well, yeah.
Beer liquid.
Yeah. You got some blood in your alcohol?
I think I'm starting to get Anheuser's.
Oh, no. No, but we were talking about movies. The drive-in. I used to go all the time with my uncle to the drive-in. And we used to go and used to put, like, seats, like those lawn chairs in the back of the truck. And we would do this thing to see how long you can stay on it with doing donuts.
Oh, my.
So me and my uncle and my cousin, you know, he'd be driving and my cousins would be sitting down in the bed and I'm all sitting in this lawn chair, like strapped in by those little strapper things, like just trying to hold on for fucking dear life while he's doing donuts in the fucking parking lot and shit. Yeah, it was fucking terrible.
That's cool.
It was fun though.
Sounds like death to fun.
That sounds fun.
I mean, it was fun at the time. Like, I'm grateful I didn't fling out or, you know, but it was cool. It was fun.
I heard that they brought back a couple drive-ins due to the fact of COVID.
They have these
Yeah.
they have these inflatable things now. They're like portable drive-ins. So they'll like anywhere there's like fairgrounds or something, they'll pop up a screen and then you can just come in and watch a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is it? Hook on to Bluetooth or something?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it's like your radio,
I
right?
think I think you can do it through like a website on your phone now or something like that. Yeah.
We should do
That
that.
probably hooks to
To whatever.
Bluetooth.
Yeah, to your
Yeah.
Bluetooth. And, yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. I haven't done any of these modern doohickey.
Oh, Jesus.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, like everywhere I used to know where a drive-in was has been torn down and made into, housing and.
Well, there's a couple in Riverside. There's the Van Buren one and then the Harupa one. Those two, they're the ones I went to growing up. I hope they're still there.
I think they are.
Yeah.
Drive-ins are cool, but I don't want to go see like a movie I really want to see in a drive-in. Because
No, dude, it's
when
so
they do the radio broadcast thing, it's like it sounds like shit. I can't see any, like it's like the screen is still like a square. It's not widescreen the way it's supposed to be. So it's like
It's still cool though.
I like how when you got to go pee and you're walking up to that restroom and it's like fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like a horror
like,
movie.
okay,
You don't
I'm
know
g-
what's gonna come out of
I
it.
think
Yeah.
I'm gonna get killed.
Yeah.
yeah, you got sea bass in the bathroom
Yeah.
waiting for you.
Yeah.
And then if you survive your urination, it's like, well, then I guess I owe myself a popcorn, you know?
That's right. Some
And then
candy or
it
something.
always stinks inside those
Oh,
places,
always,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, and it's always the floors are always wet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like concerned, like,
I don't know why.
Floors are everything's always wet.
always,
Everything.
always. It doesn't matter. It's always wet. No, but it used to be fun. We used to go and we used to put like blow up beds in the back and like put a bunch of pillows and have
Yeah.
our like freaking hookah and just chill outside and drink and smoke and it was fun. It was cool. That's what we did summers as kids. We used to do that all the time, like with my family or my friends or every time. It was fun. That's what you did in the summertime.
I took a girlfriend to a drive-in movie once, and there's this car next to me of these dudes, and they're like partying like rock stars next door. And my girlfriend is passed out,
Oh my gosh.
and she's kind of laying on my lap. So I fucking tangle her hair all up, and I'm fucking making faces like I'm
no,
getting
you're
the best
wrong.
damn
You're
blow
fucking
job
wrong.
ever, and she's just sound asleep, and I'm just like, oh. And these guys next to me are checking me out. I'm just fucking playing the game. And then I wake her up real fast, and she comes up, and her hair's all fucked off. And they all
Terrible.
start clapping and
Fucking
shit.
terrible. Oh
And
my gosh.
The same chick, we went to the drive-in one other time, and when we woke up, it was the fucking swap meet was going on, and we were still there.
Wow.
They didn't kick you out? They didn't tell you it was
They didn't come-
over? They were
We
like,
woke
oh, they're
up and there
fucking
was a
fine.
swap meet.
Leave
That
them
guy
there.
left. He went, fuck it. I'm not even going to bother. He's like, I saw that guy get the best blowjob of his life earlier today.
I'm gonna let that man. He deserves it. I'm gonna let that man go.
I'm going to let that man sleep.
I'm gonna let that man sleep after that.
all
He
bullshit.
needs it.
It's all bullshit. 100%.
That's great. That's great.
Drive-in stories.
Right? Well, but it was fun. It's what you did. Like, you could be out later. I know I had a curfew. I live with my grandma. I used to have a curfew at like 12 o'clock. She'd be like, you need to be home indoors by 12, and you can't really, I was the 15 years old, like, what do you really expect me to do? I did a lot, but like, what do you really expect me to do?
There's not much to do past
There's-
12 when you're 15.
When you're 15.
Yeah, exactly. So, we used to hang out with our friends all the time and, run amok. And, I probably traveled in circles around. I used to live in Grand Terrace with my grandma, so we would literally walk everywhere, rode bikes, and, had a little friends group and went to skating rink and skated all the time. And, yeah, dude, it was crazy.
So
Good stuff.
You have siblings? I don't really know.
I do. I have my little sister Savannah with my mom. She's my sister with my mom, and then me and my biological dad actually started talking again after a long time.
Ooh, let's get into that.
Oh wow, why?
Well, because I actually just started talking to my biological dad again.
Yeah, how's
Yeah.
that going for you?
Not like frequently, but he showed up on my birthday and brought brought me a pair of shoes.
Oh, nice.
And,
Yeah,
and
good
I was
for
like,
you.
cool, the ones I wanted in fucking 8th grade.
Right? Oh my god. No.
Finally got it.
Yeah, finally.
He
After
finally mustered up the money, I guess. No,
I guess.
no, I'm just kidding. No, he lost his brother and his dad, which is my uncle and granddad. So
Yeah.
I think he's really starting to, feel his mortality,
Yeah.
and he's trying to. I think he's really
remend.
trying to make
Yeah.
amends before it's too late. Which I
Which it quite possibly could be.
that's what I
Yeah.
think is going on. Which is I appreciate the gestures, but I think he has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, definitely. I feel you on that. Growing up, he was kind of in and out, and he would show up at a couple of my softball practices. He'd show up at a couple of my games. I wouldn't see him for like years, and then all of a sudden,
so much same.
yeah, all of a sudden he would just pop up somewhere, and then
Like nothing happened.
Yep, like, hey, I got you a Christmas present, and I'm like, oh, thanks, and then I started working at the bowling alley, and then he fucking bowled there, like randomly, and so we started talking again, and then when I quit the bowling alley, didn't really talk to him, and then, and then recently, we started talking again, and then my grandma actually passed away, and it kind of hurt because I didn't have a relationship with her. I'm gonna start crying. No, I'm gonna start crying.
It's okay.
We're all friends.
I know, but still, like,
This is great content.
Yeah.
no, and then
Fucking cry.
no, stop. No, but I didn't have a relationship with her growing up.
Sure.
Like my mom would tell me, "Oh, she was such a beautiful lady," or like,
that
tell
was
me.
his mom.
That was his mom.
That's
yeah.
the same thing with me and my grandpa too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah, I got a divorce from my son's wife. I mean, my wife, but their mother. Mm-hmm. And then my family just never ever talked to my kids again. Just never.
Oh man.
yeah, it's shitty. Like I said, my grandma, she passed away, and then it was literally like within a week of me and my dad talking again, and then I get
Yeah.
a phone call from my little brother. I mean, I have so many siblings between, my stepdad who raised me, and then my biological dad, and then my mom, So my little brother from my dad, he had called me, and he was like, you need to get here, Grandma's probably not going to make it. And I was like, okay, I'm on my way. Amir took me down there, and I spent 3 days just trying to, she would smile every time I would show up. Like, she knew who I was, but I didn't know her. So I was trying to basically make memories
Yeah.
and not know the person I'm making memories with, So it was kind of like, I know she's my grandma, and I've heard stories about her, about how she loved me, and how, I was looked so much like her and all this stuff. But it's like, I didn't know the woman that I looked like, I never got a connection with her. Every time my dad would be in and out of my life, I would see her, and she would be like, oh, hi, like I'm just some person to her. I'm not her grandkid. So it was like, how do I act now? Like, how am I supposed to feel that she's passing away? And I'm just I didn't feel it at first until I'm sitting there and she's already gone, and I'm just sitting there next to her body basically. And I'm like, fuck, this is my grandma, like this is somebody who I should actually be mourning. And
Except you
can't, because you don't know the person,
Yeah.
And it's like a shitty feeling, because you don't
Yeah.
want to feel like a fucking bad person or a rude person, because you're like, this is still my family. But
It's weird.
it's super weird.
It's like it's like when you're dating somebody and then they want you to go with them to like a funeral, and like you have no connection to any of these people,
none,
and you're like,
Well, see, I'm not good at that kind of thing, but like when you're dating someone new and they take you to a wedding
yeah,
and you don't know anybody.
Yeah.
You know who cries like a fucking bitch every fucking time? This guy right here.
dude, me
I swear. I'm the biggest goddamn crybaby when it comes
bro,
to love.
Me too.
Oh my!
You know, and it's
When
Same,
I watch
though,
that
yeah.
love thing hit,
yeah.
Oh, my
I just
gosh.
bawl like a little bitch
Yeah.
every time.
Same thing, but when somebody dies that I don't know, I'm like,
Yeah.
But yeah, but then I was like, but so you know, and then my
oh well. Whoops.
I get it.
When's the reception?
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
When do we
fuck.
get to drink?
And
huh?
I felt bad. I felt bad because, you know, like my stepmom is one of the biggest reasons why I didn't have a relationship with my dad. So it's really kind of hard for me to be nice to her. But I'm respectful. You know, I'm not gonna be a bitch to her because she
Sure.
kind of was a bitch
Sure,
to me.
they're still together.
Yeah. So she's sitting there and she's like, "Oh, you telling me like, oh, your grandma this or your grandma that?" And I'm like, "Who's grandma?" Like,
Yeah.
you know, like who's grandma? Like, it's really hard to collate both together. You know,
right,
so
right.
That's strange.
so she's like, "Your grandma wants you to have this or your grandma wants you to have that," and I'm like, "How? What? How does she want me to have this stuff? You know, like how does she
Right.
want me? You
Well,
know."
I think it's just it wasn't her. You know, it wasn't her fault that you guys weren't.
No, so to tell you a little bit behind it, my stepmom was always a very jealous person, manipulative person.
Sure.
So the fact that I was another woman's daughter, you know, the fact that I was his firstborn, and
Damn it.
and
I'm killing this over here.
and the fact that I wanted to have a relationship with my dad, but because he was giving me the attention that a father should,
Yeah.
she didn't like that it was not given to her kids, you know? So it was really hard for me growing up because,
Right.
and it's his fault too because he should have been like, nah, that's my kid, you know, and I'm going to step up and be the person that she needs me to be.
Right.
I mean, I didn't really need it. I had a great dad growing up, you know.
Sure.
I love my dad to death, and I would never in a million years want to even say anything remotely like, oh, I wish I had a different dad. You know, I love my dad.
Yeah.
He didn't have to raise me the way that he did. He didn't have to step up when I was a little girl and take on that responsibility, you know? And
So much same.
yeah, right? And he did so much for me. He made sure that I was always okay. He made sure he was like, I was a huge daddy girl with him. Like, I loved my dad. We did everything together. And so having my dad and then this man, I'll just say this man who was the sperm donor come in
That's
and
like that's like all mine too.
right? And want to have a relationship with you. It's like, I kind of felt like deceiving, you know, because I'm like, I don't want to have a dad already who's taken the responsibility that should have been taken from the sperm donor, you know, and give it to somebody who really doesn't give a fuck to act like a dad, you know? So it was like,
Well, it's too late. It's too late for all that. But it's like,
yeah.
I don't know. I was raised by a great dude too. So it's like my stepdad was sick as hell too. It's just
Oh, yeah,
I
totally.
just I mean, he taught me how to tie my shoes.
He,
like-
dude, he
You
like,
know, like with my mom and dad, you know, by the time I got to be about 35, I was just done, you know. I realized that I was never going to be anything they wanted me to be, and that in order for me to keep continuing on, I had to just move along.
yeah.
And, you know, and then 20 years later, I get a call from my oldest sister, and, you know, she's all, you know, Mom's on her deathbed. Would you like to come and say goodbye, you know?
Yeah.
So I went and did that, and then she gave me a call, and she said, Mom's dead.
Oh no.
And so I went over there, and I held her hand one last time, you know?
Yeah.
And then we had her celebration of life, and I told a funny story. And my sister gave me 1/3 of her ashes, and they sit in my living room there.
Yeah.
Well, I like to get up at like 6 in the morning and drink a cold beer. So I was cracking one open, and I caught a view of them ashes over there. And I swallowed my drink, and I looked at that jar, and I went, "Don't judge me."
I think I think a lot of like what's going on with you is like I said, I think a lot of people grow up and then like for me, like I have no resentment anymore. You know, it's like I used to hate the guy.
Oh yeah, no, I had so much, especially with like, I held so much resentment after my grandma passing because I held resentment because I wasn't given the opportunity to have a relationship with her. You know, I wasn't given the opportunity to actually have these memories other than what's been told to me. You know?
She was an adult. She had the opportunity. She had the opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, she was out of hospice for a while. Every time I would see her, she was always sick and she couldn't come out of her room. And, you know, she had to take, I would always go upstairs every time. Hey, Grandma, how are you doing? Oh, hi, hun. You know, I'm doing good. And then every time, like, my birthday, I went over there for, I think, like, my my 13th or 14th birthday.
All right.
I went over there, and they had, like, this birthday cake for me, and, like, all my sisters and my brother, you know, and, like, my nieces and my nephews were there. And they were like, oh, go upstairs and, you know, bring a piece of cake up to Grandma. And I'm like, okay, I go up there, and she, like, at first she, like, didn't recognize me, you know, and then she was like, oh, happy birthday, you know, and I have a little something for you. And, you know, she gave me, like, this little necklace, and it was, like, some cheesy, like, necklace, you know, like some probably 99-cent store necklace thing, you know, but I had it for years, and I never wore it, but I had it, and I kept it with me because that's the only thing that I could ever remember her ever giving me. So, and then over the years I moved, and I don't know where it is now, and it's like, fuck, like I should have taken more careful, you know.
I don't know. Go to the 99
and try to find the same one, right?
It'll probably come up somewhere, but I don't know. My point was like I think on both sides it's like it makes people like you and me just kind of mature a lot faster.
Yeah. And
they're on on an arrested development, so it takes them a longer time to mature. You know what I mean? So like whereas I don't have the the hatred and stuff like that anymore because it's so exhausting to like really hold a grudge like that, you know.
Especially it's just, for us, because I mean, us being so equal in that position, it's like when we would hold the resentment or we would hold the hatred, or you know, like why wasn't I good enough to be your kid, or why wasn't I good enough for you to even up. You're just beating yourself up and you're just knocking yourself down, you know. And like growing up, I was always portrayed, like I always wanted to portray myself as like a happy person, you know, and like it got to the point where like I was trying so hard to be happy that like I tried, you know, to commit suicide a few times, and like but it was really hard for me, and I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Kill yourself?
Yeah, I was just you know,
thank God.
Doug gave me a look. It's just
well, no, I'm sorry.
No, it's totally fine. Look, I've been there too. Don't worry about it.
It was just a lot, you know, and I went through a lot, and you know, I lost my grandma, my mom's grandma, and I lost my great grandma, and it was just, she was one of my favorite people, and after her, I was like, what else do you have, you know? Somebody who you can always talk to. Like I used to sit on my grandma's little porch with her, and I had like this special little stool that I would sit next to my grandma in her walking chair, you know, and we'd sit there and we'd talk and we'd drink lemonade, and you know, every time we would go visit her, she'd be like, oh, were you good? My cousin, you know, she's like, were you guys good girls, you know, for grandma? Because I lived with my grandma for a while too, you know, and so my grandma would be like, oh, they were good, you know, so my grandma would always give us like $5.
This is your stepdad's mother?
No, this is my mom's. My mom's mom, yeah. Gotcha. My mom's grandma.
Gotcha.
And so she would always ask, like, were you guys good? And she would give us $5 for being good, you know? So we were like, oh, $5.
So you always lied.
So we were like always trying to make sure that, you know,
you were good.
We were good. So we were getting $5 out of it.
That's some real grandparent shit. Like my grandpa used to always give us money after baseball games too. Even if like I'd play like shit,
right?
You know, and then he'd be like, you
bucks,
did good.
Yeah.
And he'd give me like $10 for like the arcade, and I'm like, but I didn't do well. He's like, but you tried.
But you did your best. At least you participated.
Yeah. Those, yeah. And then it was funny because then after all that, I started getting into the arts, and they started to just give me money after plays.
Yeah, right.
That was like, just like he would when we were in the little league games, you know.
You'd go to a play.
He'd go to a play and be like, "Good job," and give me.
There you go.
I'm 18 now.
Right?
It's not.
This is not a thing anymore. You don't need to give me money.
I'll take $8 from you.
Right?
I'm like, I'm gonna go get fucked up with some Boone's Farm with my friends, probably.
Yeah,
I
for
love
sure.
it.
And
But,
then, yeah, and then when she passed away, she lived with us, but she was really sick. She had cancer. So by the time she told anybody, it had went throughout her whole body. So she lived with us, and you know, my grandma, between my grandma and me and my mom, we would always rotate and be with her. You know, I come home from school, I would feed her little pops, those little Otter Pop ice creams and stuff, you know, and then right, they're the best. But she couldn't really chew anything, so it would just dissolve in her mouth basically. Yeah. But when she passed away, my grandma had gotten all of her stuff, and then in her wallet there was 2 $5 bills. For me and my cousin. So, and I still have it. Like, I still have it. That's the crazy thing, is I still have this
That's
$5 bill, you know? So my grandma made sure that, you know, me and my cousin got it, because she obviously knew that was for us, you know? So it was awesome. And
that's a very sweet story.
So
I'm going to ask you this because this is like something that happens to me all the time, is like, when you watch like movies about like like relationships with their parents, or even
I
like,
fucking hate it.
Oh God, I get so
like,
fucked
don't
up.
Get me, like,
oh,
don't
when
get
you
me
need
wrong.
to cry.
Oh
Like,
my God, I'll have a good dude. I was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, and it's all about like,
Oh,
no.
and it's all about him meeting his dad, who was lost the whole time, and he didn't know, and so he finds out he's like half God, right? But his dad is actually a pretty bad guy.
Hits you a lot deeper, dude.
And then you find out that the guy who raised him, who was always like he thought was a piece of shit, was actually trying to look out for him, because he knew when he's keeping him from his father.
Was a piece
Right,
of
right.
shit.
Because his
Yeah.
dad was a piece. So there's a part where he sacrifices himself, and he goes, "He may have been your father, but he wasn't your daddy."
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
It fucking kills you, man. It does.
I'm in the theater sobbing like a fucking dude, ugly
just
crying,
disgustingly ugly crying, and yeah, you're just, oh my God, freaking snot coming down your nose and shit. Like, oh God, yeah.
I was going through a very difficult divorce, and I had all 3 of my kids, and I rented a room, and the people I rented the room from, they lived in the house, but on every other weekend, my 3 kids would take over the living room, and
Sorry to interrupt.
oh, you're good. They'd take over the living room. You ready?
I got a letter.
Okay. But they'd take over the living room. Well, this one weekend I had to work on the Saturday. So my 2 roommates, husband and wife, they had 2 little boys and stuff. They all watched a movie. And as they were watching it, they were like, "Oh, Jesus, if my dad watched this movie, he'd cry just like a little baby, man."
Yeah.
And so when I got home from work, they're
no.
like, "Dad, you want to watch this movie?"
No. Oh my gosh.
And I was like, "Sure, what are we watching?" And it was called the Greatest Game Ever Played. And it was with, Jesus Christ. Who was that guy that was in the Transformer movies?
Mark
Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah,
was
Shia
it?
LaBeouf. And it was about a 1920s golfer, like a kid, that his family didn't have a pot to piss in, and he had like a little kid caddy, and it's a true story.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up right now.
And he had this horrible, horrible father that
I remember
never
this.
trusted and believed in him.
Yeah, I remember. Yes.
Oh, and then, now it's the very end of this movie, right? And all of a sudden,
Spoilers.
All of a sudden, Dad's in the crowd, you know?
Oh God.
And my kids stand up and they go, 5, 4,
oh no, they're counting down where the
3,
waterworks.
2, 1. And then I just start crying like a baby, you know? And it's just like, oh. But I mean, like, when E.T.'s fingers light up,
Oh, yeah.
I'm crying.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you
when-
remember the ride at Universal
The big
Studios?
fish.
Oh man, the
Yeah,
big.
Big
I didn't
Fish.
like that.
Oh Jesus, the
I
end.
couldn't watch it.
Oh
Yeah.
Jesus,
I
the
couldn't.
end. I just cried so
I
fucking
couldn't watch
hard.
it. It was no. But
It's a good one.
But like I was saying, you remember the ET ride?
Absolutely.
Fucking terrified the shit out of me at the end where he's like, "Bye, Micheala."
Yeah.
I like puts his fucking finger out. I'm like, what the fuck? I had nightmares, dude, like for fucking months. Like that shit scared the fuck out of me. Every time somebody's like, "You want to watch ET?" I'm like, "No, fuck you, fuck you." What the fuck?
I got a
Hell
great
no.
ET story. I was so I I don't do well with pot. So I had somebody gave me like this bag, but I like edibles, like I'll microdose edibles.
Edibles, yeah.
And this guy is like a friend of mine. He goes, "Oh, this cookie crushed in my backpack. Do you want it?" So it's just a bag of crumbs.
Oh my god.
And like I was like, "Yeah, fuck it." So I'm sitting there, and like I don't realize I'm doing it, but we're just kind of sitting around, and I'm just eating.
And you're eating
I'm
way
just
too
eating the
much.
crumbs. I'm just eating the crumbs, and then I went, "All right, good night." And I decided because it was like my brother had his friends. It was like one of these like my brother's thing. So I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm gonna go to bed. Good night, guys." And then he goes, "Did you eat the fucking whole bag?" And I was like, "Yeah." He goes,
Oh, you're in trouble, huh?
Jesus. I think I've done that one time.
Wait, so I go, fuck it, I'm just gonna go to bed and sleep it off, right? And I had just bought the anniversary ET Blu-ray.
Oh shit.
So I put that on.
That's the worst.
I put that
Especially
on
when
and
you're
like
high.
and so I'm lying in there and it starts to hit me as the movie starts, right?
Oh.
And then like and so I slept for like 10 minutes and then my eyes shoot open and it's at the part where like ET's dying and he's all white and he's all like, "Hey, hell yeah."
No.
And I start having the biggest panic attack of my fucking life. And I was with my girlfriend at the time, right? She's fucking knocked the fuck out. And I'm waking her up, and I'm like, I'm shaking and shit. My heart is beating. Like I have cold sweat.
Oh,
And
fuck.
I think I'm fucking dying. I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm dying right now.
Oh,
and she's like,
no.
shut up. You're just high. Just go to sleep. I'm like, no. ET's dying. I'm dying.
No, what the fuck? Oh,
You're
my
just
God.
like Elliot.
Yeah, I was like, in my head,
You
me
were
and
fucking living it. You were there.
me and
you were fucking there.
I was connected to ET.
Oh god, no, that shit scared the fuck out of me. I couldn't go on that ride. My grandma loved it. She's like, "Let's go again." I was like, "You can go by yourself."
I love that, right?
I
I did
know.
trip out the first time he said my name, though.
It
So you
freaked
said
me
you
out.
had an edible story?
Oh my gosh, yes. So I was living with my mom. My mom was always the type was like, if you're gonna do anything, do it at home, you know. So I would drink at home, but I wasn't a really big of a drinker. I would smoke. So I would smoke at home, just be safe, you know, in my house,
Yeah.
right? So one time, and I used to always have kickbacks.
I love that. My parents did the same thing.
I would always have kickbacks at my house, and like my mom would come home from work and we'd be playing, like we would move the furniture in the living room, and like my beer pong table would basically take up the whole fucking living room, you know? So it'd be in the living room
Man, I should've partied
playing
with you
beer
guys.
pong, right? So we'd be in the living room playing like fucking 10, 11 of us in this tiny ass fucking 2-bedroom apartment, you know? And we're playing beer pong, and my mom would just walk to the door and she's like, "What the fuck are you guys doing?" And we're like, "We're playing." My mom would just join in, just start fucking playing with us, you know? So one time, my mom was like, "I'm gonna go out with my friends after work," and I'm like, "Okay," you know. So my buddy at the time, he was like, I got a brookie edible. Do you want some? And I was like, "Yeah." I was my first time ever trying an edible, so I didn't fucking know. I smoked
Yeah.
weed, so I was like, it can't be worse than, you know, being high. No. It was so fucking terrible for
it's
me.
bad.
And I didn't know how much to take, and you know when you're eating edible, you have to like basically like Ryan, you
Take
have to
a piece.
microdose it.
Yeah.
You know, you have
Yeah.
to take a little piece at a time until you're like, okay, I'm pretty fucking cool, and it doesn't hit you as hard as like smoking it. So
Right.
It hits you differently because it goes through your liver.
yeah, well, I mean, it's a different high for sure, you know. So I'm sitting there, and my friends are playing beer pong, you know, and it was my turn, and I couldn't fucking stand up. I was stuck, like I was cemented
Yeah.
in my fucking seat. So I
Yeah.
was like, I'm good. I don't.
It was
wanna
like
play.
that. Remember those truth commercials or
Yes.
those anti-marijuana commercials where the
Yes.
girls like deflated on the couch?
Dude,
I was at-
yes, like it was exactly like that. Like I literally felt like I was cemented into my chair.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I'm trying to stand up, and like I probably looked like a fucking dead horse, like trying like get out of the fucking, you know. But I was trying to
Like
get out
Ace,
of my
like
chair.
Ace Ventura when he has the trank dart.
Yes, I'm all
I was-
wobbling and like going like this,
I
trying
was
to
at
get
the-
up. Oh, it was so bad.
I was at the Silver Dollar Saloon. That's where Ryan's kind of bartending a little bit at now.
Oh no.
And over in El Monte there, and one of my friends came in and he's all, "Hey, Dougie, man, I broke up a few pounds of magic mushrooms today."
Hell yeah.
Oh no.
And he goes, but he's going, "I got all this shake." And he had them filled in pill bottles.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you know, it was like the little black shit that's on the underneath side of the mushrooms.
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'm calling them mushroom shots." He goes, "You want a mushroom shot?"
Oh fuck.
And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, "Sure, what the hell, man?" So he does one and I do one.
Oh. Fuck.
And you throw this shit in your mouth, it's all dry and it tastes like shit.
Yeah, it was fucking
But
terrible.
you drink it down and
Yeah.
you get there and then you're going, "All right, now I'm gonna fry," you know?
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Hey, I gotta get going." And then I'm like, "Oh shit.
You fucking genie.
Now I gotta fry all by myself
Yeah.
No.
in this
dude.
bar," you know?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, my god.
Oh, it got fucking harsh, man.
Oh,
And
I
swear,
bet, dude.
I'm telling you, it got me fucking higher than shit, man. I was just, and you know, now you're afraid to drive. You're afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you know, the bar closes at 2:00.
And you're
I'm
like,
still
what the
just,
fuck do you do after that?
I'm just frying like no to fucking tomorrow,
Oh, no.
man.
Yeah.
I'm like sitting in my car, fucking just kind of going, "Wow, this was the wrong fucking idea," you
I
know?
shouldn't have done this
Yeah.
shit. No,
And
yeah.
then before I bought this house, I had this roommate, Rhonda, that lived down the street there, and she liked to make edibles.
Yeah. That figures.
Cause Mike, he's grows a little bit of weed, and so he gives her all the leaves, and she boils them down and makes this oil, and
Butter and all that
I
stuff.
guess so.
Yeah. I've
But
been wanting to try to do
Every
that too.
time I'd
Crazy.
open up
Yeah.
the fridge, there was like 30 things in there that said, "Doug, do not eat. Doug, do not eat. Doug, do not eat."
Trying to help you. She's
Yes,
trying to save you.
'cause She knew that I'd get so fucking
It was funny,
high.
man, when my mom was going through her chemo.
Mm-hmm.
So like it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So what they would tell her is like eat Jolly Ranchers like while you're doing your chemo. So what she did was she got like a whole bag of edible gummy bears.
Gummies.
Yeah, so
Nice.
there's a giant bag of them in the fridge, and my grandma went in the fridge and pulled them out, and
Started eating them?
No, we stopped her right before.
Oh my god.
Because she pulled them out and she was like, "Whose gummy bears are these?" And then my brother looked at her and he was like,
Should we?
Oh my gosh.
and she's like, "What? What's that look for?" And she's like, "Should I not eat these?" He's like, "Do you want?" He goes, "Do you want to go on an adventure?"
Oh my god. No, so right. So perfect story, right? So my mom, I live with my mom, right? And this is when I would eat edibles after I started, you know, I just did a little bit at a time. I was like, Brookie's probably not my thing. I don't want to be cemented. I want, you know, so I started doing like gummy worms or like the little Sour Patch Kids or like, there's so many different types. So I had like baggies of edibles. They were like open on my dresser.
Right.
So my mom happens to go into my room for something someday, right? And she grabs a couple of them. And I'm at work. So she eats them. She calls me and she's like, what the fuck was on your
that?"
dresser? And I was like, what do you mean? And she's like,
Oh my.
what the fuck is on your dresser? And I was like, well, candy, you know? And I'm like, it's candy, you know? I was like, wait, hold on, what are you doing? Like, where are you? And she's like, I am laying in my bed and I cannot fucking get up. And I was like, what are you talking about? You know? And I was like, wait, what were they?
High.
I was like, wait, what were they? You know? And she's like, they were gummy bears. But the gummy bears I had were like this fucking big, where you eat like half at a time, you know? She's like, I just ate a couple of them. And I'm like,
oh, no.
fuck. You know?
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're like,
well,
"Good night,
you
Mom."
know, you should probably just call it a night, because
Yeah.
those were edibles. And she's like, you're kidding me. I was like, no, I'm so sorry. I didn't know you would go in my room and like
And
pick up my
steal my shit.
pick up some freaking candy, you know? I guess next time I'll let you know.
Lesson learned, Mom. Don't
Right?
be eating shit out of my room.
So I get home from work and I'm like, it was like a couple hours later, right? And I get home from work and I'm like, Mom, you good? You know? And she's like, I know. And she's like, I'm fucking starving, but I can't move and I need to, you know, I need to pee. And I'm like, okay, right? So I'm like helping my mom go to the bathroom and like getting her food and stuff. I'm like, here, let's just put you back in bed, you know? I'm gonna just put those in my drawer so you don't just help yourself.
I went to the river, and these young kids, come on, Doug, let's go up the hill here. We got off of the pontoon boat and we walked up this trail, and they're like, hey man, we're gonna smoke a joint. You want to smoke a joint with us? I'm like, yeah, I'll have a couple hits. And they're going, no, you got to help us smoke the whole fucking joint, you know? So this big old joint just keeps going
Passing
around and
around.
around.
Oh, sheesh.
And then I just end up like stoned to the bejeez, you know? And I'm in this little fucking like fold out chair, you know, the low ones.
The low ones to the ground, yeah.
So my legs are like in the river, you know? Mm-hmm. And 20 feet away from me is the pontoon boat. And I'm so stoned, I know I can't make it to that fucking pontoon boat. And I'm just sitting there like this quiet little child, and I'm just thinking to myself, fuck, it really looks like they're having a lot of fun. And I'm all the way over here, you know? And
You're
they're
in a
literally
predicament.
20 feet
You're
away
in a fucking
from me.
predicament, Dougie. You're like, shit.
And then it was the funniest thing though is the pontoon boat ended up breaking down, so I had to sober up right away. And we started putting like 2 people at a time on this flat bottom boat that we had, and take them back to shore.
Oh my goodness.
My buddy Mike, his stepfather and his brother, we're all standing on this little island, you know, and we're the last ones to go. The sun's starting to go down and shit. And Mike's brother says, well, if Mike don't come back, we're going to kill and eat you first, Doug.
Oh no.
And I'm like, fuck, there's no meat on my
Right?
bones,
You're not
you
gonna
know?
get shit from
These
me.
guys were like fat, you know?
That's just because you won't put up a fight.
Right? That's fine. That's what it is. You're too fucked up to
That's
fight.
what exactly they said. They said, well, you won't put up no fight. We'll worry about how we're surviving after you. And then I was like, fuck, Mike, please come back.
Right? You're like praying, please. I don't want to be eaten today. Jeez, that's
Oh my God.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's
Because I was
funny.
the one that was going to be on the pontoon boat to steer it back when we towed it back in.
Yeah.
Because I weighed the least out of anybody, you know. I was like the Gilligan of the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
that's like
know?
my husband, Amir. He's like super fucking little, so he could get into any fucking crevice. Or we went to Laughlin for my first time, and his dad has a couple jet skis and all that stuff. So we went up there my first time. Super 4th of July, super fun trip, super gorgeous. You know, I was so exhausted. We get on the river, and he's fucking mobbing this sea-doo, and I'm trying to hold on to him, but he's just you know. And then I'm like, nah, dude, you need to stop. Like this, I'm terrified at this point. Like I'm trying to hold on, but I'm not having any luck holding on to a skeleton. You know what I'm saying? Like it was so hard for me to hold on. So finally we get to our little pit stop, and me and his dad are just chilling, and then his brother's girlfriend at the time was too. So we're sitting at this little bed lake thing, you know, and so him and his brother are like, let's race. And he literally tells his brother, he's like, dude, I weigh nothing. I'm flying at this point, you know. So they're literally he's flying. Like, he's hitting these waves and just gone. Like, he's just out of there. And I was like, yeah, no, fuck that. I'll just next time we go, just give me a little raft. And let me just raft down the fucking lake and then just pull me back with a rope. I'm not getting on that bitch with you anymore.
I'm kind of easy-pleasy like that, too.
I just want to cruise. I don't want to go fast. Yeah, I'll keep a yellow flag so nobody runs my ass over, you know. Fuck that. I'm not getting that shit back on that with you. Hell no.
My buddy Mike, who owns the Silver Dollar Saloon, his stepson Leland, when he was a little kid, we'd always drag him out to the river there. Mm-hmm. And he was bored to death all the fucking time, you know?
Oh, no.
So one day, I don't know, trash digging or doing something, we found a canoe, but it was broken.
Oh, no.
Well, no. So it was like, hey, man, we're going to teach you how to fix this thing. You know, it was made out of fiberglass. So we bought him fiberglass and, you know, and we taught him how to repair this thing. So he finally got this thing rebuilt, you know, and he's hollering. And he's this little fucking kid too, man.
Yeah.
And he's all, hey, man, I want you guys to take me all the way down here and throw me out, and then I'll meet you over here, you know?
Yeah.
And it was like, me and Mike kick Leland off, and he's like, I'm gonna die! You know, I'm gonna die! And we go back to the house, and we get the boat ready. We get it off into the water, and then we start heading back up, and it's like, you know, we should be seeing Leland here pretty soon, you know? Mm-hmm. And who the fuck knows? Maybe he is dead, you know? we don't necessarily know if we killed this fucker or not. And then there's this kid, man, standing up, huckleberry finning it in this goddamn canoe.
Yeah, that's dope.
And it's like, look at that son of a bitch. So we get to the little, like the spot, like a cove.
Yeah.
So where the water isn't moving so fast and all that shit. And there's that canoe, you know? So, or kayak or whatever the shit it was. And it's like, hey, I'm going to try that thing. Fuck no, man. I'd about drown myself to death. Somebody else tries it, about drowns himself to death.
You were like, I'm gonna die.
Right? You were gonna die.
I was gonna die. But that son of a bitch was standing up on that thing, you know?
Wow, yeah.
All right, I think that's what we should wrap. We're about an hour and a half, hour and 5.
All right. So, Micheala,
Yes.
I need you to look at the camera
Okay.
and say, my name's Micheala, and that was my deal.
My name is Micheala, and that was my deal.
Thank you so much,
You're
my
welcome.
dear.
Thank you for having me.
Banjo music. That was lovely. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me. Number 18. I told you I would do it.
Number 18.